Friday, October 4th edition of the Carolina Weather Video. I'm meteorologist Matthew East here along with you, cutting this video during the 8 o'clock hour this morning here. And there's a live look at that point in time when I was cutting this video from the Avalon Pier web camera. 69 degrees the temperature there. Look at that. The wind is calm. Look how quiet the Atlantic Ocean is there. Hard to even spot a wave out there over the Atlantic this morning. Highs yesterday, pretty warm, certainly by early October standards. A lot of 80s on the board. It's going to be 80s again this afternoon in many of those same areas. 50s in the mountains, a lot of 60s outside of the mountains here for these 8 o'clock temperatures. Dew points still hanging out in the upper 50s and lower 60s. Now, on the radar, it's quiet around here this morning. And pretty dynamic storm system wrapping up in the Plain States. Some decent thunderstorms still even at this early morning hour in parts of Iowa. Pretty significant severe weather threat in parts of the Plain States today, especially centered there in Iowa. And then you look back off to the west into the cold air side of this system. A very, very significant early season snow event is underway, especially in parts of Wyoming and South Dakota. Look at some of these snow totals here being printed out by the RPM, and I don't think it's that far off in some instances here. Some spots will pick up a foot, maybe 2 feet of snow in a few spots. Some blizzard warnings in effect for parts of that region. Very significant early season snow event. Now, that is part of our next storm system. That main low pressure heads to Canada, but the trailing cold front will eventually collect Karen from the Gulf of Mexico and lift that tropical moisture up in our direction. Now, some details to iron out still. First of all, let's look at Karen this morning. This was the satellite presentation just after 8 a.m. And again, you're looking at the center of circulation right about there. So most of this deep convection is displaced well to the east of that low-level center. Not a very healthy-looking tropical storm. I think that 60-mile-per-hour designation may be a little bit generous in terms of the sustained wind speed. Located about 275 miles south of the mouth of the Mississippi River, this will scrape across southeastern Louisiana and eventually head toward the Mississippi, Alabama, or western Florida Panhandle, Gulf Coast there by early Sunday morning. Thereafter, the remnants of Karen move up over the Carolinas. Now, at the time I'm cutting this video, you had tropical storm warnings up from southeastern Louisiana over toward the western Florida Panhandle region. Some tropical storm watches on either side of that. And certainly there will be some pretty breezy conditions there along the Gulf Coast as we get into the day Sunday, looking at some 50, 60 mile per hour sustained winds, possibility there along the Gulf Coast. And then some of those gusty winds could translate up the Carolina coast on Monday, depending on exactly how that system unfolds as it interacts with an incoming trough. The basic idea is this: cold front comes in, begins to pick up Karen, and those two features kind of merge as it moves through our region. So some details to iron out, though, in terms of the exact track. Here's what the GFS is printing out for rain amounts associated with this system. It's painting the heaviest stripe of precipitation over around I-95, whereas earlier model runs it had that stripe a little further to the west. Now, this is what the European model is printing out. The bottom line is somebody probably going to pick up 2+ inches of rain around the region. Just will kind of depend on exactly where what's left of Karen winds up tracking. All right, that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day, and God bless.